data is important. Data to understand not just your audience, but with the issues you're talking about. Before you go into any big piece of work on a range of issues, the cost of living crisis, their political views, or anything, you need to understand what these are already, how you actually need to monitor and change that communication message to tailor it toward the audience. And it's not just about knowing the whole group, it's about breaking it down. So, for example, in Waltham Forest, we've got about 290,000 residents from over 100 different countries that they've come from. We need to understand their history. We need to understand which of those communities has health issues, for example. So, one of the pieces of work, some of the data we look at is public health. So, for example, we know that alcohol consumption in Eastern European men is much higher. We also know that Eastern European don't generally register at GPs, so they may have other health problems. So it's breaking down whatever topic you're talking about and looking what you're trying to achieve, which communities are the ones you need to talk to, and what are the best tactics to use. But one of the things, being a government agency, which we now need to understand with the Eastern European, is that they've come from the old Soviet bloc, which means they are distrustful of government agencies, and you need to understand that to be able to talk to them, of how you can try to communicate. There's a natural barrier to that. How do we break down those barriers? So those are some of the tactics we use. And also talk to the issues that people want to talk about. So some of the research we do on a quarterly basis is what are the big issues facing all our residents. For example, currently the cost of living crisis is the number one issue. 2 years ago, that wasn't even in the top 5 issues people were facing. Two years ago, it was just the pandemic. So you need to understand what are the big issues in your community. It's about meeting expectations and being honest with residents to make sure that they understand that the issues that you're facing as well. It's about being on people's sides. Organisations need to do several things. They need to understand the needs of their residents. It's not just about communicating with residents. We're 3,500 staff members. It's about making sure that they understand what our residents need as well. It's a whole organisation approach. It shouldn't just be the communication department. And it's getting those leaders out there, speaking to residents and getting them out there at places. We are a Labour council, so we get our cabinet and leader out at events and making sure that we are responsive as an organisation. We're also just about to start a series of webinars where residents can actually speak to the leader and speak to our politicians and answer them any questions which they submit in advance. And we'll be doing webinars on all the big issues residents face, cost of living crisis. But it's not just about answering questions from us. We're also getting leaders from the voluntary and community sector who are helping those people most in need to come on those webinars and talk about what support is available so that we can help resolve the issues that residents are facing. So it is a bit about being responsive. It's not just about throwing communications out. It's about giving residents the opportunity to be able to ask questions, to be able to put your political leaders out in the public domain so that they can show that they are responsive, showing they are real people, but also get them out and about to where residents are going to be. We have here in Waltham Forest, we have a very developed cultural programme. We have events going across the summer, which are all free for residents, which we also get a lot of support available for the cost of living crisis, because we know that's the big issue. So we get the voluntary community sector there so that people can come, they can have free summer events with their children, and then they can also get the support that's available to them. And obviously you can't really do that in the autumn and winter, so we'll do that we'll do that on Facebook Live, and we'll do that in other methods as well to try and get the messages across and show that we are responding to the needs of our residents. And we're going to do it on a themed approach. So we're going to start with the cost of living crisis, and then, for example, it's going to be the community safety, where we'll get the local police leader talking about what they're doing to tackle crime and antisocial behaviour, and then we'll ask residents what topics they want to hear about, so that we're also responding to choose the topic as well. So it is about it's democracy in action, isn't it? You have to have long-term strategies for building channels, etc. But you can often get blown off course by the kind of day-to-day emergencies and things that change constantly. And having worked for the police and government in terrorist attacks, high-profile murders, etc., because I worked for the police for quite a long time, you have to have the ability to not just see what the news agenda today is, or not what people want for today. You need to understand what they need in the future, and you need to plan for that. We can all see what needs to happen today, but the best communication professionals are always thinking about, well, how will that land in the future? And how can I make sure that I'm still increasing my effectiveness and the channels that we're using?